Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and I'm out on another investigation. Today is more of an interview, really. You may have seen that I've been out and about in Kent with my fascinating and interested viewer, Nigel Sadler. He has something of interest that he has going on in his attic. He is an avid model train maker and manipulator, I suppose. So before I left the few days that I've been staying with him exploring the wonders of Kent, I wanted to know if model railways had a link to heritage, landscape and nature, which is what I'm interested in. And Nigel said, oh yes, definitely. So let's find out how he got interested in trains, and let's have a look at some of them.
My dad bought me a model railway. I can't remember when. I was probably 8, 9, 10. Big surprise. He'd spent months, I'm told, making this thing in the kitchen late at night after I was in bed. My birthday's a week after Christmas, so the two tend to roll in together. Anyway, came down for this birthday or Christmas, whichever it was, and there was this layout, 6 foot by 4 foot layout, all set out in the lounge with 2 trains and a station and cottages and a railway bridge and signals and bits of rolling stock. There was a locomotive and some trucks, and there was 2 carriages together, the passenger rolling stock, and I was delighted. It was lovely. So I played with that he made it on 2 baseboards that came apart and went together in a frame. So it was surrounded, so you could fold it together and put it away, usually in the dining room, so that it didn't take up too much space when I wasn't playing with it, which it was quite a lot of the time, but you know, hey ho. And I played with it quite regularly, and then I bought a few more extra trains, well, 1 extra train and some more rolling stock and some bit more track. And a mate of mine had a railway as well, so we used to mix and match and play with those things, and used to extend bits and pieces. And I got a tunnel, and I then painted it all, painted on roads, and generally made a complete and utter mess of it, but still it was good fun. I'd always wanted to have a layout in the loft, and our first house in London had a very shallow pitch roof, so you could just crawl around on hands and knees. No good for that. The second house had a properly built loft room, ideal for a railway, but hey ho, it was a fully functional room, so there wasn't any chance of being allowed to do that. And then we moved to Tonbridge, and this house has a very, very large loft, a big open space, because you've got to have somewhere to store the suitcases and the Christmas trees and the holiday stuff and all the other rubbish that tends to end up in the loft, especially if you've got a loft as big as ours, which has the space for it. So I joined a model railway club to find out what sort of railway building there was, and I had to make a decision. Was I a round and round person, i.e. build a layout where the trains do go round and round, or do you do proper scenics, which frequently are just an end-to-end? So you might have a layout that may only be 3 foot long, it may be 6 foot long, and you do it incredibly detailed with lots of grass and so it looks like a tiny miniature railway to scale, and you will have a few sidings and you just drive trains backwards and forwards. So it becomes a technical thing, and that's a true model railway versus a toy railway, which doesn't have to be, but will tend to be the round and round thing. But I still pondered exactly how to fit it in a loft. It had to be functional. And then because of the A-frame construction of the roof with a horizontal tie bar, I got 2 long planks of wood one day and just laid it across the tie bars. I put some track on it, I put a train on it, and that was exactly at my eye level, at about 5 foot something, whatever it is, off the deck. And I thought, well, you see real trains at eye level, unless you're up in a high building or looking it down from a cliff. Why not build the layout at that height? Because then you've got all the space underneath to put all the rubbish. And so I got some more planks of wood and I set it up, and I put a simple oval, which is all I was going to do, a simple oval with a couple of sidings. But things progressed. You keep adding more. I think, I know, I could do this. I've got that space, let's add that. And so I ended up with a double loop, both sides, a huge fiddle yard area, which is the sidings, in other words, people would say. Then a long extension where I could keep all my carriages, all the passenger carriages, which went on the little extension which goes over onto the back bedroom, down the end of that corridor behind me. And so it nearly fills the loft. And I bought more and more rolling stock, all very inexpensively, all off auction sites online. Of sometimes paying more for the postage than I was for the actual item. I haven't gone for the complete historical accuracy, but there is just something so magic about the way machines, well, boys and men seem to find it, the way mechanical things move, and particularly steam trains, which always had very large driving wheels, and the linkage gear that moves backwards and forwards. That is always absolutely, for boys and men on the whole, a fascinating mechanical process. So steam trains are always very attractive versus a diesel or an electric, which you don't see the moving parts, you just see the train truck along the track. So I've got a mixture, and I haven't done, purists will build their layout to be specifically 1937, just before the war, when the austerity period, and it'll be an old crest or a new crest, painted black or whatever it is, and be faithful to the particular region, whether it be Southern, Great Western, Great Northern, London. I haven't really bothered too much about that, although I have made it biased towards the Southern. So I didn't intend to, but I bought a very modern train because it was incredibly cheap and on offer, so I bought it, which is the Hitachi high-speed trains which run on HS1. But otherwise it's predominantly steam trains and trains of the 1960s that run on there. I wanted a station. I had the original station from my original layout, though it's falling to pieces. So that was very much a country station. And to go with the layout, I wanted something bigger. So I was going to design a station, and I just thought, well, let's go and base something on Worthing. So I went down, well, I used to live in Worthing, so I went down visiting my mum, and I photographed the whole of platform 3 that's the south side of Worthing Station. So I had a complete panoramic picture of it. And then I converted that into something that was the scale length of what I could fit in on the layout based on the architecture of Worthing Station. And I called it High Down because I'm born and brought up in Worthing, although I haven't lived there since I was 20 on a regular basis. And I love playing on High Down Hill. So I thought, right, when I do the back scene, which is the background picture that you would have in the layout to put it in a landscape, that will be High Down Hill. And broadly speaking, the layout will be running somewhere along just north of the A259, slightly to the west of present Goring Station. That will be sort of relatively where this mythical layout will be, with a high-speed line which I call HS6, assuming we will get say an Exeter to Dover high-speed train service one day going through past Southampton and Portsmouth and Brighton. I just like having fun and to see a little toy train. Some of them aren't toys, some of them are decent models up there that run round and work in unison, and the fact I can send it anywhere on the layout I want to, hook it up with something else and pull it and drive it all. When it's all working perfectly, which it isn't at the moment because it hasn't been run for some time, and therefore it needs cleaning and running in. But it gives me, I enjoyed making it, building it, than I do actually playing with it. I enjoy playing with it, but the building of it, for me, because I like making things, I like making models and the like, that gave me the greatest buzz, actually, than, oh, now it's built and it works, what can I do next?
Well, there we are. That was interesting, wasn't it? And I think clearly, even though you might think it as toys or not related, somehow it does link to our theme of heritage, landscape and nature. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that, something different. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, become a patron, support what we do, and I'll be out about on another one. So I'll see you then. Till next time, bye-bye.